How you doing, Black Kids Read Too? My name is Keivon Jones. I'm a brand strategist, and this is my book recommendation. I recommend this book for anybody trying to elevate their brand, and the name of the book is Power Branding by Steve Mckee. My first quote from the book is, "What you say doesn't matter. It's what they hear that counts." So what comes to mind for me when I hear this quote is the word communication. And how important it is to not only understand exactly what you want to communicate to someone, but also be aware of how they might receive what you're trying to communicate.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Most of our arguments and conflict in life, just as people, come from miscommunication. And this can lead to missed opportunities. This can lead to broken relationships. This can lead to violence. So I just think overall, that's an important lesson for anybody to learn, whether you're branding or just going through life, is being aware that it's not just what you say, but it's super important understanding how people might receive that on the other end.
You're right.
My second quote from the book, just because you can't measure it doesn't mean it's not real. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
The land of make-believe.
I want to use sports as an example. If you're an athlete or even just a fan of sports, you know that there's certain players that they might not light up the stat chart, but they're super impactful and they have a presence when they're on the field or on the court, depending on the sport that they play. Even with someone like Michael Jordan, who did fill out all the stats. When you hear legends talk about MJ's impact on the game, they talk about his competitiveness.
See, Michael's the most competitive person I've ever been around in my life, so.
And that's not something that you can measure or put a number to, but clearly that's something that contributed to his greatness as a player. Even in life, things like love. How can you measure love? How can you measure dedication? How can you measure somebody's will, somebody's drive? These are all things that you can't really put a number to, but clearly exist.
You're right again.
And my third quote from this book is, "Branding is an investment, not an expense." I think the importance of this quote comes down to long-term thinking versus short-term thinking. Anyone who understands branding and understands the value of branding understands the value of playing the long game and not playing the short game. That's one of the main differences between branding and marketing, which a lot of people get confused. Marketing is more so tactics that can show a more immediate result. Branding is something that builds value over time, which is why it's an investment. If you think of gold, people associate investments with something like gold, precious metals. People know that if they invest in that gold, over time it's going to increase in value, and you should think of your brand in the same exact way.
You are correct. It's fact.
So those were my 3 quotes from the book Power Branding. If that was helpful to you, and if you're interested in learning how to elevate your brand, you can find me at KeivonBrands.com or at KeivonBrands on social media. And thanks for watching.